Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Cash, so be ready for craziness. For all of Match, you can get a stove, a smart TV, recliner, or sofa bed valued up to $2,599 for free with your loan of $3,500 and over. It's madness all month long. Are you ready? Hurry! Visit your nearest Courts or Courts Ready Cash store or apply online at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com. At Courts Ready Cash, we are ready when you are. Conditions apply. Offer valid while stocks last.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, Minister of Urban Development, Energy, Airports, Seaports, Grenadines Affairs and Local Government, Julian Francis, in a recent radio interview provided an update on the recently renovated market buildings. The COVID-19 pandemic is mostly to blame for the delayed opening of the buildings that will house close to 300 vendors, according to Minister Francis. He says that the moving of vendors from the outdoors to enclosed spaces would not have been in compliance with the nation's COVID-19 protocols.
COVID is the main reason why those have not yet been occupied because of the protocols and the idea of taking the vendors off of an open air area, putting them in the peak of COVID into a closed area. Because between those three buildings, we have close to 300 stalls. So in discussions with health authorities and our own view on it, we thought it best to leave that until we are out of the COVID woods, and then we will arrange to have the vendors move into that.
Minister Francis says that as the pandemic winds down, a list is being compiled in order to determine which vendors will be moved into the new market buildings.
Town board is also fine-tuning a list for me of vendors, the longest serving vendors on the street, who we will give priority to going into those accommodations. That's basically why it's not done. In fact, now that we're down to 1-2 cases and it looks like we're over the worst, it is getting attention now, and town board is getting that information that we are asking for.
That was the Minister of Urban Development, Energy, Airports, Seaports, Grenadines Affairs and Local Government, Julian Francis. Members of Parliament will meet this week on Thursday, March 21st, 2022 for the sitting of Parliament, which Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says several important pieces of legislation will be dealt with. Prime Minister Gonsalves made mention of the Teachers' Pension Amendment Bill, which will be dealt with during the meeting of Parliament. We hear more from the Prime Minister.
There's this peculiar situation in the Teachers' Pension Act that if you were grade 3 or 4, you can't take early retirement. Now, it's not fair just because of the difference of the grade. And what would have happened is that some persons thought that they could have taken early retirement, didn't take the vaccine, make application for the early retirement, and then found themselves taking early retirement. But because they didn't act in concert with the law, they had a problem. So for those persons, teacher 3 and teacher 4, who reached 55 and who retired, to amend the Teachers' Pension Act to make sure that they get their pension in the same way as if they had been teacher 5 and above.
That was the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. The meeting of Parliament takes place this Thursday at 10 a.m. Still on the local scene, there are currently 3 active cases of COVID-19 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is according to the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment's COVID-19 update for Sunday, March 20th, 2022. No new PCR or antigen COVID-19 cases were confirmed by the report. COVID-19 hospitalizations remain at 0, with no patients admitted for care at the Argyle Isolation Facility and the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital's COVID-19 ward. There were no new COVID-19 deaths reported, which means SVG's death toll from the virus remains unchanged at 106. Of the deceased, 100 were unvaccinated, 1 was partially vaccinated, and 5 were fully vaccinated. Vaccination numbers, according to the Ministry of Health's update, stand at 69,358 total vaccines administered, 35,956 being first doses, and 30,003 being second doses. 3,399 COVID 19 booster shots have been administered. There have been 6,745 PCR COVID 19 cases recorded in St. Vincent and the Grenadines since March of 2020. On to news in the region. The importation of live birds, poultry, and poultry products from the United States of America and Canada has been temporarily suspended by Barbados' Ministry of Agriculture and Food and Nutritional Security. Chief Veterinary Officer from Veterinary Services, Dr. Mark Trotman, has issued a ban on poultry and poultry products from these two North American countries due to an outbreak of a new strain of highly pathogenic avian influenza virus, commonly referred to as bird flu. Dr. Trotman said there is potential for this strain of the virus to affect people, especially those who interact or work with infected birds or potentially infected mammals. Trotman noted that, as with most diseases that are not present in Barbados, the best protection is strengthening quarantine measures. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt on Friday said that Dominica has not established diplomatic relations with Syria, even as he acknowledged that he had been informed of that situation by Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Kenneth Darrow. The political situation has led to the resignation of Ambassador Lorraine Barney Roberts, who signed the agreement with Damascus. In a radio and television broadcast, Skerritt said he had been informed by Adoro that a signing ceremony had taken place, effectively establishing diplomatic relations between the two countries. The minister himself made clear in a correspondence to me that he was not a party to the signing and indeed was fundamentally opposed to the move at this time, Skerritt said, adding that these were his immediate sentiments as well. Skerritt, in his response to the minister on Monday, said that he registered his absolute bewilderment by the development. On the international scene, a Chinese passenger plane with 132 people on board has crashed in a forested hillside in southern China. The China Eastern Airlines Boeing 737 was flying from Kunming to Guangzhou when it came down in Guangxi province and caught fire. It is feared there are no survivors, but the number of casualties and reason for the crash are not yet known. Chinese airlines generally have a good safety record. The last major accident took place 12 years ago. Flight tracking data suggests the plane lost height rapidly from its cruising altitude before hitting the ground. More than 600 emergency responders are said to be at the crash site. Firefighters reached the scene first and managed to extinguish a blaze in the hills caused by the crash. And finally, in sports, 13 athletes have been confirmed from trials here at home last weekend to represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the 2022 Carifta Games to be held in Jamaica from April 16th to 18th. The under-17 category will see Shante Matthias in the girls' 100-meter and 200-meter races, and the boys are Keo Davis in the 200-meter race, Cody Grant in the long jump, Jaheim Harry 400-meter race, Zachary Sobers in the 400-meter race. AJ Delpesh will also travel to make up a 4x400 relay team. In the under-20 age group, Granisha Thomas will be in the girls' 400-meter hurdles, and the boys' events will see Kyle Lawrence in the 100-meter and 200-meter, and Devonrick Mack in the 200-meter. They will join athletes already based in Jamaica who have also made qualifying standards. These are Amal Glasgow in the 400-meter, Uriah Ryan in the long and high jump, Veril Sam in the high jump and pole vault, and Nelly Amberton in the 800-meter. This has been WEFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WEFM's 3 p.m. News. WEFM's Midday News is brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Love our style at Quartz Optical, Toscana, Ray-Ban, Armani, and much more with up to 75% off selected frames. Buy that frame and pay nothing for 30 days. Book your eye examination online today on www.quartzoptical.com. We've got the frames you love only at Quartz Optical. Value you can't see. Special